Hello and welcome back again. This is a video tutorial on how I edit my photos with Lightroom Mobile app. I usually take photos on my phone in RAW and I edit them on my phone using Lightroom Mobile. So let's just start with this picture, and first I need to crop it to 4:5 to get rid of that top portion that is distracting the whole picture. After cropping, we have to make it it's a bit tilted, but that's how I shot it, so we can't change it now. We can apply a rotation to the picture, a slight rotation, but that affects on the that affects on the processing power of the phone, so we will do it in the last. So let's start with the sharpening and detail. Everything in Lightroom is non-destructive. You can go back and change anything anytime, so you can start anywhere. So it's like multiple iterations you can think of. Add some TAs. It's a pretty flat picture right now because it's shot on Redmi Note 8, I guess. Redmi Note 8. It's a raw file, DNG file. So it is flat. It will be flat always. We will add texture locally by adding adjustment masks. You can add vignette. I think this is fine, or else we can add clarity a little bit, and I will increase the vibrance to about 50, saturation to -17, and the sky is not that blue, so it will not be, so this blue and magenta sliders are not useful in this picture, but green sliders for those leaves, we can make it more brownish, increase the hue, that increases the ambience in the greens. Let's try with yellow slide, that affects on some areas of the picture, and the orange. It's a flat picture. Basically, the lighting was not that great. Anyway, we can then go to the exposure, reduce the highlights, increase the shadows. Or you can do this locally because the photo is divided into two parts, the top part and the bottom part, and we will make the top part defocused so that the bottom part stands out. Increase the whites, decrease the blacks. It's fairly lit picture. We don't have to change contrast and exposure. In case of the tone curve, I will make an S curve that makes it look like that adds a matte finish kind of by lifting up this middle point. We can use other tone curves, but I don't think we need here. So let's add a mask just for the top part. So now we have to add it twice. Just going to copy this one. So now whatever adjustments you will make, that will be applicable to the both of the masking tools at the same time. If you are increasing saturation, it will affect the both masks at the same time. You can change the hue, you can make it pea greens or brownish. This one looks different. You can play with hint, tint. So now here I don't want to focus on the top portion, so I will add the clarity, I will remove the clarity to some extent, also the texture, so I'm taking away the texture from the top portion, that is making it less detailed. You can still do this by copying the layer again and pasting it on both of the masks again to make it look more effective. I think this one looks just fine. Can increase the shadows, add some contrast, and now we will add more gradient to sharpen up and make the bottom portion look more clear and detailed. We'll also make it sharp. We'll also reduce the noise. This is the before, this is the after. We can add some tone curves to see what looks the best. Before and after, there is a slight orange tint in the highlights. We need to take that away. Make sure you don't add any color to the highlights, just like this, so it makes the whole picture worse. I think this one looks just fine. We can make some more adjustments to the tone curve. I think this one looks just fine. So we can add a globally increase the texture. We have already done with sharpness and noise reduction. So now it's the time to fix the perspective. Now that is a little bit straight. We'll crop it. Now the aspect ratio sometimes gets changed when you crop it, so you can reset it and set the crop again, and make sure you are checking with your masks, because after cropping sometimes the masks get moved into different locations of the picture, because masks don't know where the crop is or where the subject that you are applying it on. So now we will move to the next picture, that is a reflection taken at Panchganga Ghat, Kolhapur in the morning. There is not a lot of stuff going on in this picture. I ended up making it black and white, but let's see what we can do here. There's only one color I'm seeing here, that is brown. So we can't even color grade this picture. Let's try black and white here. You can play with the tint and these sliders. Let's go to tone curve and make some adjustments here. Before and after. We can make it look a more vintage style by adding some green and reduce the color noise reduction back to 0 and increase sharpening and details in this picture. So that's about it. Let's go to next picture that is taken at the same location. We can do some adjustments here, like exposure, basic exposure adjustments. Add some contrast, reduce the exposure. You can see the benefit of a raw file in this picture. Let's go to tone curve and add a S curve. Get all the details of this picture. You can also color grade this by slightly adding a S curve and just like that. To balance all this, we can change the tonal values, and as the picture is flat, we don't have any control on HSL. We can go to color grade and change the saturation of shadows into something like this. Go to highlights and change the saturation to something yellowish, and in midtones you can do whatever you want. Basically it's a free, so it creates a sunshine effect, morning sunshine effect. Go to clarity and let's add texture, and we will add clarity through different to the masks. So let's add a mask on the top part of this picture, just like that. Increase the clarity, texture, increase the saturation. You can also change the exposure. That also affects on the colors of this picture. Make sure you add contrast when you reduce clarity or dehaze or add dehaze. in the bottom part we have to do the opposite of the top part. We have to increase the shadows, add some contrast, and maybe change hue. Make it more sharp and clear. This is the before, this is the after. I hope you learned something from this on how to edit photos using different tools of the Lightroom. Make sure you subscribe and follow for more such videos. Thank you.